Hi everyone, and welcome to Moonstone Makes. My name is Tommy. Thank you for being here. Today I have dragged out all of my knitwear, everything that I've ever knit that I still own, kind of, to share them with you. Before we get into it, I want to let you know that this video is brought to you by my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you so much to those of you who support me over there. It is endlessly appreciated. And there are new things coming to Patreon. I have opened a patron-exclusive Discord channel. If you want to check that out, come join the Patreon. We have threads for knitting and books and cooking and YouTube and all kinds of stuff. Also, if you follow me over on Instagram, you might know I have gone pretty full on into the world of digital art. So that may or may not be coming to Patreon next month. It is coming to Patreon next month in the form of digital goodies, spoiler. So if you're interested in any of that, please check it out. The link is below. And thank you. So it is fall now, and I've been kind of rotating through my wardrobe, pulling things out that I'm not going to be wearing in the fall anymore that I was wearing in the summer, and putting things back in. And I just kind of ended up pulling out all of my knitwear and making a big pile. And I decided I wanted to show you. So I went through and I found everything that I've ever knit that I still own so that I can kind of work through and figure out what I want to put in my active wardrobe and what I kind of want to store for next season or whatever. Now I'm only going to show you the things that I've knit for myself. And this includes things that I'm currently wearing all the time and that I haven't worn in like forever. I'm not going to show you things I've knit for my kids or toys or blankets or anything like that. But aside from that stuff, this is everything I've knit that I still own. Keep in mind, I've gotten rid of a lot of my knitwear over the years. Now, I've been knitting for about 15 years, and so I have built up a lot of FOs, a lot of knitwear over the years. And I would say at least half, maybe most of the things that I've ever knit, I don't have anymore. There are a few different things that I do with knitwear that I don't want or need anymore. I've donated knitwear, mostly sweaters, to thrift stores. I've done destashes for my knitwear. I've given things away or I've sold them for like the cost of shipping or like $5 or something like that. I have knit a lot of things to give away through the YouTube channel, through Patreon. And I've knit, of course, things as gifts. I've also, honestly, and this feels shameful to say, but I've thrown away knitwear. Things, sometimes, I feel like that's a terrible thing to admit, but sometimes things just don't last. Sometimes as you wear things, they fall apart to the point where it's beyond repair or beyond my desire to repair. Sometimes you just need to throw things away and get rid of them from your life or anybody's life. But yeah, a lot of the things that I've knit I no longer have. And I am the type of person, I'm not that sentimental about things like knitwear. And I've knit a lot of like, especially garments for myself that I ended up not liking how they fit or feel or look. And I just know that I'm never going to wear them. So lots of the garments that I've knit are gone. And I'm not going to show you any hand knit socks today. I do wear those regularly, and I do have a pretty good collection of hand knit socks. Again, most of the hand knit socks I've ever made are now gone. Most of those get thrown away. Once they, bite the dust, they just get thrown away. But I do have a lot of hand knit socks. I'm not going to show you those today though. So this is accessories, shawls, and sweaters. Let's get started. I'm going to start with the small things, so we're going to do accessories first. And for me, that's mostly mitts, mittens, and hats. But the very first thing that I'm going to show you is this. It's a headband. This is the Hiedra Headband by Lerka of Fiber Tales. I used some Harrisville Designs nightshades in some greenish hued colorway. And this is something that sits in my accessories box, but I never wear it. I just never wear it. I wanted to knit a headband. I thought maybe I would like wearing a knitted headband. I never wear this though, but honestly, I think the reason why I don't wear this though is because it's small and it's hard to get on and it messes up my hair. And so I think if I had like a bigger scrunchier one, like maybe a ribbed one or a brioche one, I would wear it a little more. This one's really cute and really sweet, but I just don't ever wear it. But that's the first thing. Starting off on a good foot. To continue this good start, I'm moving on to mitts and mittens. And when I brought all of my knitwear out here, I swear I had 2 of these, but now I can only find 1. But this is my Something Wicked mitts. This is a design by Kristen of Woolen Vine, and I knit these in Moonstone Dyeworks, which is my hand-dyed yarn company, in the Frostbite colorway, and this was on an old base of mine. It was a Polworth DK non-superwash yarn, and I love fingerless mitts. I love these fingerless mitts, and in the wintertime, I wear them constantly. This next thing is very old. I knit this in 2015, and they're not very easy to get on, which is why I never wear them. Ever, ever, ever wear them, even though they're beautiful. So I called these, back when I knit them, my apple picking mitts, and they're very long, fingerless mitts. They're very snug, and the pattern is, I don't know how to say this, it's in French, et phrase. I'm so bad at this. It's a pattern by Alicia Plummer, and I knit these using Swan's Island. It's something like Natural Colors Merino or something like that. It's a very lightweight fingering yarn. And it's non-superwash, and they're very nice. They have a lovely little texture. They're super cute, and I feel like I knit these very long because I felt like it would be like really fancy and stuff. And they kind of are pretty fancy, but they're just not that practical, and I never wear them. So that's my next thing. Mitt number 3. These sweet babies. These were knit out of some hand spun a really long time ago. These are still kind of my go-to fingerless mitts. The hand spun, I want to say, was spun right round, and it's a very like kind of dense, thick worsted / Aran weight hand spun. I want to say it's a 3-ply. It looks like a 3-ply. It's very kind of ropey and dense, but still really bouncy and soft and lovely. And they're just nice and comfortable. They're a lot shorter than the other ones, but they're still nice and snug, and I just love wearing these. You guys know I love hand spun. I love wearing hand spun, and oh, I love also how they don't match. I'm kind of into that. So yeah, these are kind of my favorites. Oh, and I didn't use a pattern. Sometimes with fingerless mitts, I kind of go by like a formula that I don't know where it came from, but I have somewhere. I kind of just wing it most of the time when it comes to fingerless mitts and go by like my gauge and just try it on as I go. So I don't know, but they're fingerless mitts. And my final pair of fingerless mitts are Yggdrasil Mitts by Ellie of Skeyndir. I knit these using some Knit Picks palette yarn, and they're great. Fingering weight, color work. This was a very fun pattern to knit. I don't wear them that much, but I have like 4 or 5 pairs of fingerless mitts, so sometimes some get worn more than others. But these are super cute, and they were a very fun knit. On to full-on mittens. I knit these a pretty long time ago, and they are very scratchy, and I don't ever wear them because I don't like the feel of the yarn. They're like so scratchy, and I'm like not sensitive to scratchy yarn, but these are just like, eh. These are the Grayling Mittens by Tin Can Knits, and the yarn is, sorry yarn, I don't mean to badmouth you, but I just don't really like you. Blackwater Abbey 2-ply sport weight. I don't know. It's really pretty. Like, I love the color variation in this yarn. That's what drew me to it. And the mitts are really pretty. I just, like, yeah, I don't know. You know. Juniper Mitts by Helen Stewart. This was some Madeline Tosh in a non-superwash sport weight yarn. I knit these in 2016. Finishing off the mitten section with the coolest looking pair of mittens that I own. These are the Alice Mittens by Diana Walla, and I think they are beautiful. I love them. I love the aesthetic of these. I love the colors. I love the pattern. They're so good. So these are really fun to knit. I used the Farmer's Daughters Fibers Pishkun DK. It's a non-superwash DK weight yarn, and I love these colors. Oh, the like rusty orangey burnt color, and then the like kind of grayish, brownish, pinkish kind of lighter color. Oh, I love them, and they got the flowers, and they look very 70s, and oh, they're just like super good. Super good. I'm not the biggest fan of the mitten style where the thumb is like in the front, because I just feel like that, like, I don't know, I'm just not the biggest fan of it, so I don't wear these that much, but I love them. They're so pretty. Moving on to hats. I'm going to start with the hat that I wear exclusively. This is the only knit hat I ever wear. I have 3 right now. I've knit a lot of hats, but I only have 3 currently. And this is the only one I ever wear because it is the best hat that I have. This is the February hat by Kate Gagnon Osborne, and it was knit in Kelborn Woolens, Germantown, in the rhododendron colorway. And I really like this hat. This is what it looks like. It's like a changing texture sort of hat. Is that like the Gansey style? I think that's what Gansey kind of means. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Do not listen to me. Gansey's like type of sweater. But I feel like with Gansey sweaters, it's like chunks of different patterns, and that's kind of how this hat is. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's got a pom-pom on it, and it's lovely. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. I love it. I love this yarn. This was the best hat yarn. I love it. It's like a worsted weight, and it's wonderful. And this hat is the best. I love the pom-pom. I love how it fits over my ears, and it keeps me warm, and I love this hat. There it is. I recommend knitting it in this yarn. It's lovely. The pattern was written for the yarn, so, you know. Oh, good. Oh, good, I'm in the hat section. Okay, now the oldest hat that I still have that I knit a very long time ago was a pattern by Susan B. Anderson. And it's the Snowflake, the split back Snowflake hat. This hat is wonderful, and I love it. I just never go for it. I don't know why. I should. It's wonderful. I knit this using Cascade 220 Superwash, and this was my very first colorwork pattern that I ever knit. When did I knit this? 2015. This was my very first colorwork. So, can you see it? Can you see it? Is it in focus? It also has a pom-pom, and it's got snowflakes on it, and it's got the split back, which makes it kind of like, you know, I love it. This is a good hat. It's got cables on the brim. It's lovely. I love this hat. Okay, my last hat, which was my old favorite before I knit the red one, is the Whitman hat. I have knit 3 of these, and this is the one that I still have. I knit this using Yarn Indulgences DK in the Gustav colorway. And it's a textured pattern. It's by Danielle Morgan, and that's it. Those are my hats. Those are my 3 hats. Okay, let's move on to shawls. So, I have a big pile of shawls. I have knit so many shawls. I have knit so many shawls in my life. And I can say for sure that most of the shawls I've ever knit are no longer with me, and I still have a lot. So, I'm going to start out with some of the oldest shawls that I still have. And one of these, I'm pretty sure this one, I was wearing in my very first episode of... in my very first video on my YouTube channel back when my knitting podcast was called Squirrel Pie Productions. Do you remember that? Let me know in the comments below if you were around in the Squirrel Pie Production days, because that would be lovely to hear. So this was a shawl that I knit twice because I liked it so much. It's the Annisa Wrap by Amba O'Brien. And in my Ravelry projects, and I think on my podcast too, I called this my Annabelle Lee shawl. This was back when I liked naming my projects things other than like the name of the pattern. So this is it. And it's one of these, like, it's just a long rectangular wrap, more than a shawl. And I went through a hardcore phase of only knitting stuff like this because I like wearing stuff like this more than I like wearing, like, crescent shawls. And I kind of still do. I should maybe knit a couple more of these because I really, really like how these wear. So the yarn that I used for this was a hand-spun Southern Cross Fibers, which is the darker color. And it's at the end here, it's all hand spun here. So Southern Cross Fibers in a Polworth Tessa Silk blend in the Paris colorway. And then the lighter color that you can see a little more over here was Madeline Tosh in the Tosh Merino Light in the Gossamer colorway. And gosh, I really do like this shawl. I should bring this back out. This has been in storage. I just don't wear shawls that much anymore. This is the next Annisa shawl that I knit. And this one, this one I called Ghastly Grim and Ancient Raven. I was very Poe inspired in this era. And I used Volanvine yarns in the blitzed base, in the Poe colorways, the Nevermore colorway, that's funny, and Tosh Merino Light in the Gossamer colorway. Okay, I'm going to show you the 2 that are still, like, currently, as of yesterday, still in my closet. This one is The Girl from the Grocery Store by Joji Locatelli, and I used some handspun for this also. This was a loop bump, and I did a lace weight single ply handspun. So I applied the whole bump. It was a gradient, all in one go, very thin. And then I didn't ply it, but when I washed it, I folded a little bit, which very gently and very lightly. So I washed my hand spun and then I wrung it out to dry, and then I whacked it on the counter a couple times to kind of, the idea is to felt it a teeny bit, but it's like I did it super gently because I didn't, I didn't want to go too far with it. But it has held up pretty good, except this thing that I just noticed the other day, and I'm pretty sure my daughter did this. I don't think this was the fault. I don't think this just happened. I think my daughter was playing with it and she snagged it, but that happened. And it's actually happened once before, and I fixed it a long time ago. But other than that, this shawl has held up pretty well, even though it's a lace weight single ply hand spun. But I really like this shawl too. I love the gradient. I love the colors. This hand spun was just super lovely, and it's got sparkle in it too. It's really soft and really sparkly, and oh, I really like it. It's another just like super, it's a crescent shawl, but it's like long and thin. It's not crescent. It's asymmetrical. It's an asymmetrical triangle or whatever those are called. I really like this one, which is why it's still in my closet. I love wearing it and wrapping it around because the two ends are different colors, so they just hang down in a really nice way that I really enjoy. This is one of my very favorite shawls that I've ever knit in terms of the actual wear. Now, the other one that I still had in my closet as of yesterday was this one, which is the Rebel 2 by Leslie Ann Robinson. And this was a brioche project. This is one of my first brioche projects. I really, really enjoy brioche. And I knit this using Moonstone Dyeworks in the F Me Pumps colorway, which is the pink. And then the dark gray is Wool and Vine Yarns Goth Day Cake, I think. Yeah. Goth Day Cake, and they're both single ply merino yarns, and I just love wearing this shawl. It's really pretty and it's really squishy, and I love the colors, and I'm very proud of these little details because while I love knitting brioche like deeply, I don't love knitting brioche in a pattern that involves any increases or decreases because it's just not that fun for me. But I love this shawl. Exploration Station, my very first Stephen West pattern I ever knit, and I knit this when Moonstone Dyeworks was baby, brand new baby. And these are all colorways that I dyed very early on that I don't still dye because I don't even know what they are. But a lot of these were just like experiments in dyeing, and I put them all together into this shawl, and I loved knitting this. This was so much fun to knit. The Exploration Station is so much fun to knit. If you've never knit a Stephen West pattern before, I would definitely recommend knitting this one or the Marled Magic, which is another one that I knit, which I no longer have. But those two shawls are so much fun to knit. So that's the Exploration Station. I don't wear this one that much because it's just the type of shape that doesn't fit into my wardrobe or my lifestyle very easily, but I still love it. So I still have it. Speaking of shawls that I never wear, but I still have, this one for sentimental reasons. This is the Late August shawl. This is a pattern by Sylvia McFadden, and the yarn that I used to knit this is Sincere Sheep Agleam, and that is a 50% tencel, 50% wool yarn. And this was a yarn that my husband Colin got for me as a gift for my birthday. Okay, hi, I've reconfigured. So anyway, my husband Colin bought this yarn for me, went to a yarn shop, picked it out himself, gave it to me as a gift. It was a total surprise and it was really sweet. And I knit this really beautiful, really fun to make circular shawl with it. But I don't wear it, you know. And the last shawl that I still have is another circular shawl. This is the Oracle by Kristen of Wool and Vine. This shawl was so much fun to make. There's lace in it, there's brioche. I used all Wool and Vine yarns in the Nouveau base, which is the merino single ply, and it's Fig Bash, Prickly Pear, and Last Unicorn. And it is so pretty. Don't really wear it though. Okay, that concludes the shawl portion. Now let's move on to sweaters. We're going to start with pullovers because I have less pullovers than I do cardigans. And we'll start with what I'm wearing. This is the Ranunculus by Midori Hirose, and I knit this using Julie Aslin Nurtured Fine, which is like a lace weight, fingering weight, single ply, non-superwash wool. And this is beautiful. I love it. This is one of my knits that I knit originally according to the pattern, and then it didn't fit great, so I ripped back a whole bunch of it all the way up to the yoke. I ripped back the yoke a little bit and then re-knit the body and the sleeves, and it fits much better now, and I really, really enjoy this sweater. This is the Mount Pleasant top by Pip and Pin, who is Megan Nodecker. I knit this in 2018. I used Greenwood Fiberworks hand-painted Yakety Yak yarn in the Paper Roses Pink colorway. And this yarn is beautiful and lovely. It was my first time ever using yak. I love the lace detail on this thing. It's very pretty and very easy to wear. This next one is the Party Top by Abby Knits. I used some hand spun for this. This was some Classy Squid Fiber Co. fiber, and I spun it up. It's purple and it's dark and it's sparkly, and I just freaking loved this hand spun. I was so in love with it, and I really wanted to make a sweater out of it. So I pretty much found this sweater just based on the yardage that I had, because I didn't have a whole lot of yardage, and it's great. I love it. It's got cute eyelets in the sleeves. It's very cropped. The sleeves are short. I definitely would have made the sleeves and the length of the body a little longer had I more yarn, but I didn't. It doesn't get a lot of wear because of how small it is, but I still really love it. This next one is a pretty recent knit. This is the Felix Pullover by Amy Christophers. This is a pattern that people said over and over and over and over and over again, you should knit it because it's great, and I finally did it and it was great, and I really liked knitting it. I used Brooklyn Tweed in the worsted weight, a whole bunch of different colorways that I had in my stash, and it's weird and it's kind of wild, and I really enjoy it. This is one of my more successful attempts at knitting a pullover that has a little bit of a longer length and a little bit of a looser fit. I want to knit more things like this, especially in a lighter weight yarn, but I really do enjoy this sweater. Even though it's super weird and kind of funky and kind of looks weird, I really enjoy it. It's very cozy. Now onto the biggest chunk of my knitwear, my pile of cardigans. It is big. I knit mostly cardigans. I would say I knit mostly cardigans. I really like cardigans, and let's just show you all my cardigans. I'm gonna start with my favorite one. My favorite one that gets the most wear because it's the best is my Be Thankful cardigan. This is a pattern by Lily Kate France. I used Barocco Mochi in the aubergine colorway, and I love it. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I love it. It's super lightweight. It's super fluffy. It feels like I'm wearing nothing, and it feels good. I have like these big, I think they're called bishop sleeves. I don't know. They're big puffy sleeves, and it's kind of long, and it's wonderful. I love this cardigan. I love wearing it. It's like my perfect cardigan. This is the Mazzy Cardigan. I'm starting out with all my darkest cardigans. This is the Mazzy Cardigan. This is a pattern by Elizabeth Smith. I knit this using Harrisville Designs Nightshades. It's in the Insomnia colorway, which is the same yarn that I used to knit the very first headband that I showed you. This is a really great cardigan. It was fun and easy to knit. It's got a really cool little cable detail up the front panel, and it's nice. I wish I would have knit one size bigger. Kind of a typical thing with old me is I used to really like knitting with 0 or negative ease, and so I made a lot of things real tight and real snug and real small, and that's just not how I work anymore. So I wish I would have made this in the next size up, but I didn't. I still really like it, but it's just more, it kind of has this like, I don't know, it's less of a casual fit than I would like it to be. But I still really enjoy it, and I love the yarn. I love Nightshades. This is a sweater that I knit back in 2018. It's called the Hematite by Lisa Much, and I never ever wore this a single time. The yarn I used was Moonstone Dyeworks in my old non-superwash fingering base in the Galaxies colorway, and same problem, I knit the smallest size, and it's super tight, and it just fits me like, it looks like I'm like trying to wear like a little kid sweater. It just like does not fit. And so I've never worn it. I just don't like the fit of it. I don't like the cut of it. It's very small, but I kept it because I figured it would be a good hand-me-down for Lucy once she grows into it. She's 4 now, so I'm probably gonna have to wait a few years before it actually fits her, but yeah, this is gonna be a Lucy cardigan for sure. This is a cardigan that I knit in 2017 called the Salal Cardigan. It's by Andy Satterland, and the yarn I used is some of my favorite yarn I've ever used. It's Green Mountain Spinnery New Mexico Organic. It's lovely. It's this really pretty oatmeal color, and it's this really squishy, soft, bouncy, buttery, non-superwash wool, and I just adore it. I love this sweater. I used to wear it a lot more than I do now, back when I used to wear really like fitted fit and flare dresses with a cardigan over the top. It looks really good with that look. I just don't dress like that anymore. My body doesn't really do that anymore. So I don't wear this cardigan very much anymore. Like the close fitting 0 to negative ease cropped thing isn't really in my sweater rotation anymore, but I keep this because I love it. The buttons are purple and frosted. I love this cardigan so much. Sometimes I still try to wear it, but it doesn't really fit with my style or my comfort level anymore, but I still really like it, but it's not going to be in my active wardrobe right now. This is a sweater that I have wanted to rip out for so long and I just haven't yet. This is the Featherweight Cardigan by Hannah Fettig. And it's another one of these cardigans that I knit out of really beautiful yarn. This is Imperial Yarns Tracy 2. It's a sport weight non-superwash yarn. It's absolutely lovely, but I feel like this cardigan would be much better on like a teenager or maybe an older kid. It just doesn't fit me that good. It's like really small and really, the sleeves are short, the body is short, it's just too small. It's too small, so I never wear it. And I've wanted to rip it out and reuse that yarn for something else for so long, I just haven't yet. And I knit that in 2016. This is the Calligraphy Cardigan by Hannah Fettig. I knit this using Abundant Earth fiber it's a DK weight base. It's called Verdant, and it's just like in a natural gray. And it's got really big black chunky buttons. It's got a really big like fold over kind of square collar, and it's nice and long and it's super cozy. I love wearing this around the house. This is like my wear around the house super cozy sweater. This sweater is wonderful. I love it. This one is the Ramona Light by Elizabeth Smith. I knit this using Moonstone Dyeworks in my sport weight base in the dark crystal colorway. Yes, in the dark crystal colorway. And it's just kind of a square neck cardigan. I actually really don't wear this style of cardigan that much. I prefer like a V-neck or an open front kind of cardigan. But this was really fun and easy to knit. This is like a super duper simple sweater cardigan pattern. If you're like a beginner cardigan maker, like the Ramona or the Ramona Light are both very easy and just mindless and nice and fun to knit. And yeah, I don't wear this one that much. Stylistically, it's just not one that I gravitate towards, but maybe I'll pull this one out for October because I feel like the colors are very Halloween appropriate and it might be fun to wear next month. Okay, I'm getting down to the wire. So my next one is the Strokkur by Isolde Teague. This is one that I knit using Harrisville Designs in their worsted weight base, and I knit this according to the pattern as a pullover, but it just didn't suit me as a pullover. It didn't like how it fit. I was never gonna wear it. I never did wear it. I had it like a pullover for like a pretty long time, and I decided to try to turn it into a cardigan one day. So I steeked it. I think I did a vlog about it, and I think this was my very first steeking experience actually, and I just kind of went in and did it. And it worked out really good. It's definitely a little wonky on the inside. I used some contrasting yarn, unfortunately, for like the crochet, whatever it's called. But I like this sweater. I wear it sometimes. It's not a go-to, but I like it quite a bit. And this one definitely has a standing place in my closet at all times. It's always in rotation. This is the Oxbow Cardigan by Andrea Mowry. This is an open fronted big shawl collar raglan cardigan. Knit in bulky weight yarn, I used Brooklyn Tweed Quarry. This was a really fun and quick and simple knit because it's bulky weight yarn. It went by really fast. I really like this yarn. This is actually the second pattern I've knit this yarn into. I knit it into a previous sweater and then ripped it out and then it re-knitted into this sweater. And it's held up really, really well. And it's a lovely, cozy, super thick and bulky sweater, and it's really great for wearing around the house. This one is the Spark Cardigan by Andrea Mowry. This is another Andrea Mowry shawl collar raglan sleeve cardigan, and I knit this using another yarn that I had previously knit into like 2 or 3 other sweaters and ripped out before finally settling on this one. This is some Dream and Color Classy in the Chocolate Night colorway. The contrast color that I used for the color work is some hand spun. This was a combo hand spun that I spun up specifically for this project, and it's so wonderful and I'm super proud of it, and I love how it came out. I love how it looks. I love the colors. I used some Into the World fiber and some Julie spins into, I mean, obviously different colorways, and I applied them each into their own ply and then plied them together into a 2-ply. This is all worsted weight yarn and it came out so lovely. I just love the autumnal colors in this one. Oh, I love the colors in this. Again, I wish I would have knit the bigger size. This one is just like a little too form-fitting, a little too short, a little too something. I wish it was a little bigger and like wrap-aroundy and cozy, but I still love it. Oh, I just love this one. It's so pretty. I think it's the colors. I love the colors in that one. I need to knit more browns. I went through a really heavy like gray, black, purple phase, as I don't know if it's obvious or not, I can't remember, but I love wearing browns and warm tones, and I need to knit more of those colors. I really, really do. I have saved my most worn, most loved, most ratty, tattered knitwear piece for last. If you've been here for a pretty long time, you might know what it is. It's my Even Flow by Joji Locatelli. This is a cardigan that has seen better days, but I just love it so much. This is my, by far, most worn cardigan I've ever made. Probably my most worn piece of knitwear that I've ever made in general. I love this thing. I need to knit another one because this one, like I said, it has seen better days. It's faded, it's worn, it's ratty, it's pilled, it looks kind of terrible. But I love it. I should knit another one. It took me a long time to knit this. This pattern was not that fun for me to knit. So I knit a lot of this sweater and then probably put it down for like 6 months or a year or something. And then finally picked it up and finished it. And after I finished it, I was so happy because it became my favorite sweater. I wear this thing all the time. It's a go-to. It's my favorite. It's wonderful. Joji Locatelli is one of my favorite knitwear designers. I love her stuff. And this one is just so good. Yeah, but the actual garment, it's not that good anymore. It has seen better days. It needs to be retired, but I just can't let go of it. But so I won't. I'm going to wear it for a while longer. Maybe until I knit another one. We'll see. Okay, that's it. That's all the knitwear that I still have that I've ever knit. I think the things that I've shown you date back as far as 2014, 2015. I have been knitting much longer than that, but I don't have a single thing that I've knit before that. I knit a lot of stuff. I went through my Ravelry project pages too and kind of looked at everything and just kind of verified everything before, like the oldest thing that I showed you, I just don't have anymore. It's just all gone. But that's okay. That's how things go. That's how my life goes. I make things, I use things, I love things, and then I move on from them. It is really nice to kind of spread everything out and look at everything that I have in terms of knitwear to kind of see where holes in my knitwear wardrobe are. I do have a lot of things that I still have that I don't wear that much. And that's okay. I have a few pieces that I wear a lot, and kind of cycling through all of this stuff that I've knit and that I've worn here and there, it gives me an idea of what to knit in the future for myself, because I have a hard time at this point in my knitting life knitting more and more things that I might just not wear, because I don't really want to do that right now. But I think I have an idea, especially after going through all this, of what I want to knit in the future that will fill gaps and give me things that I think I actually want to wear. So that's really nice. Okay, I'm gonna go clean up my big giant mess now and wear some knitwear and go out into the drizzly, foggy, cloudy fall day that it is. And I hope you are doing something similar today in terms of wearing knitwear and enjoying fall, not in terms of ripping out your whole closet and going through every single thing. Though maybe you need to do that too. I don't know, it was kind of cathartic. Thank you so much for joining me today for all of this knitwear, this whole knitwear tour that I have brought you on that you didn't ask for. I would love to know a little bit about how you organize your knitwear. Do you knit a ton of stuff? Do you wear it all? Do you just keep a few pieces in your closet and then the rest in storage? How do you store your knitwear? I would love to know. Tell me about it in the comments below. And if you think that you know what I'm missing in my knitwear wardrobe, tell me that too, because I'm all ears. I'm super open to suggestions about what to knit next to fill the gaps in this knitwear scene, nerdy thing. All right. Thanks for being here. If you haven't yet, I would love it if you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, comment below. Check out my links in the description box below to Instagram, Patreon, Ko-Fi, my website, stuff like that. And I will see you in the next video. Happy fall, happy knitting, and happy knitwear wearing.